I'm just making sure I wasn't getting any dings while you were recording.
Exactly.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding goes the bell.
Well, after watching what I've watched, I'd rather have the dings than the okay, you know.
Yeah. And the
Okay, yeah, we're here to talk about our latest offering from Doctor Who, Knock Knock. A very, very kind of creepy episode. A little bit, you know, it's a little suspenseful, a little bit weird, and oh yeah, we had to edit out the name of a classic companion because the new Who fans may not know who it is and get confused. Oh, whatever. Okay, as per usual, as we've been doing since we got a lot of people here, when I call your name, go ahead and just go into your opening thoughts on Knock Knock. All right, so let's start with AJ this time. Go on ahead, AJ.
Hi, guys. I really like this story. I like the David Suchet character. He was almost Troughton-esque the way he appeared in this episode, I thought at least. I also got vibes of like Scooby-Doo and what was that story with Matt Smith with the haunted house with the ghost in the future? Thank you. I also got vibes of that as well. It was a mishmash of a bunch of little things here and there. But overall, it was a really good story for Capaldi. He was in his element in this one. Done.
All right, Philip.
Hello. Yeah, I like this episode. It started off a bit of a... I was a bit worried because it started off very kind of jaunty at the beginning. And then once it started going into the territory of the story, I thought, yeah, this is really good, really good. And I did like, again, I thought Pearl was a little bit sidetracked a little bit for the story. But I did enjoy David Suchet's landlord. He had the right kind of creepiness to him. And he did that part very well. It was very believable. The advent of the wood creature being his mother, as opposed to his daughter, was a bit, oh my God, okay, fair enough. And a bit creepy, a bit sort of like wrong in some certain senses. I don't like the idea that all those people that got killed were miraculously brought back to life, basically.
Well, I'm going to explain that in a minute when you finish.
Yeah, all right. But I just thought I let the side down. I thought, why couldn't they just stay dead? And the fact is, if those people could be brought back, what happened to all the other ones that were lost in that
Again,
house?
I can explain that in a minute.
Wait, man. But at the end of the day, the story was good and it made me so much wood. So there you go.
Oh, yeah, too much wood. All right, William.
You're gonna have to put a laugh track on that.
Oh, well, I could find one.
Hey, now, how you doing, buddy? This was a great episode. And I love the beginning of the story when you see the conversation between the doctor and Bill. And, of course, she finding out that he's a Time Lord and all that. And that's, that's the way they talk to each other. That's the way we haven't seen in quite a while. So that really stood out real well. Now we're going to get to the part right now of Philip complaining about why the kids didn't die. If you noticed in the episode, the landlord didn't bring people did not every day or every year. It was a certain number of years. That's why it took that. That's the time it took for the house to consume the people that was trapped.
Every 20 years.
Yeah, every 20 years. So now you notice the people who were trapped in this episode just got trapped. Just got trapped. Not even, you could tell, maybe minutes or maybe an hour max. So they wasn't consumed because it takes that long for the consumption to happen. I love this thing. I love this story because it really was scary in certain scenes, especially in the first two, you could say, victims getting eaten up, so to speak. That really was spooky. I like that also that they not had to show no gore at all. That really stood out because how some of these shows now need to show it just to get their point across. And I also like it. Another thing that stood out when the doctor find out and the kid saw that other students had been there for many years. All you saw was the stuff that they bring to move in. You didn't see no bones, no clothing, or nothing like that. That stood out real good. I liked it. Because, again, this is supposed to be, even though this is a science fiction show, it's supposed to be a family show. So that stood out real good, and I got to give them props for that. Again, it's a lot of shows that is not doing that. But it depends on what time it's aired, so that's why. And the ending of the story, of course, that what really shocked me was that the doctor just walks in the door with the food for whoever is in there. But that was weird. But I thought for a moment there was gonna be a little contraction opening, and he was gonna give him the bags. So I was like, so not only that we now because of this, we know that this person is somebody the doctor knows. So in a way, and we're gonna whoever it is, we're gonna find out it's somebody that we have seen in one time or another. So that was pretty good. Now, like we said earlier about a certain character whose name was not revealed to be a relative of a classic character, that's on them. They don't want to do that. I don't want to say no profanity or nothing. That's their tough luck, because that could have stood out real good, and it would have brought both Who fans together on this one. So that's their problem. But I got to give this a very 2 thumbs up, and it's a great story. It's real sad, and a little bit it was very sad. But when we found out that the caretaker was the woman's son, that's really made me think that, hey, a lot of stuff stood out because he acted like a kid. You notice he never grew up because he always thought about was his mom. So that really stood out.
Yeah, well, it's kind of obvious now who's in the vault. It really is. We'll talk about it more on that later, though. Okay, Sam.
Well, it was a beautiful episode. I have enjoyed it very much. Particularly, David Suchet was great in it. It was very. It was a roller coaster. It was emotional. It was a bit fairy tale-ish, but I liked it. It was very, very good. It was cool. So.
Okay. All right, Doctor Who commentator.
Okay, well, you'll remember how last week I disagreed with just about everyone on the episode. You'll have no disagreement with me for this one. This was an absolutely brilliant episode. It had all the suspense that I thought about last weekend, and that's really what was missing, the suspense. And I loved that the villain, he wasn't a one-dimensional villain. He was a very complex character and mostly had a lot of mother issues. So Kenneth Williams, basically. But I will say, as it started, I mean, I was a little pretentious because it was a bit too happy-go-lucky. And when you saw all those kids, I mean, it reminded me of something else we all know about very well. But then you get to the main gist of the story, and like I said, the suspense is there. But I'll agree with Philip again. Yeah, you can make all that argument of why they came back, but still, bringing them back, that was just a complete cop-out and ruined the whole point of the suspense, if anything, frankly.
Yeah, well, we can't blame Moffat for this one, really, can we? This was written by someone else, if I remember correctly.
Get it on that, I know.
Yeah, this one was written by Mike Bartlett, if I remember right. So
yeah.
We can't blame, but they'll blame him anyway. It's kind of like they should, have that song where we replace blame blame Moffat. Okay, let's go to Connor.
I've not been hooked by an episode of Doctor Who like I was this week. This was incredible. The fascinating thing about this episode is that the creeps came from the sounds more than the physical visual aspects. So, and I think it works a lot better when it's just the sound, because you're almost like when the screams were a lot more intense than they would normally be on a normal Doctor Who episode, and it really, the creaking of the floorboards and the walls and stuff. And I think that's why they probably thought that it benefited more from a binaural sort of setting, as is available on BBC iPlayer. David Suchet, I've seen people on the internet saying that he was underused. I thought he was used to a perfect amount, to be honest. I don't think he even needed to be there that much. I think that Bill held the episode up really well. Peter Capaldi had a very different edge to him, and his stare game was on point, because the way that he was staring at everyone, just piercing owl-like eyes, just fantastic. And his reaction to Little Mix was one of the funniest things I've seen in Doctor Who in quite a while. Mike Bartlett is a writer that I am familiar with. He's primarily a playwright. He only got into TV a few years ago with Dr. Foster. Very, very talented writer. Very talented writer. I would say I'd like him to come back, but I don't think he will, because I think he's very busy. He will probably be very much in demand, both on the theatre scene and on TV. You know, a wonderful simplistic idea that he clarified with on the fan show, where he said that he was wondering why no one had ever done the floorboards creaking before. And he did really, again, with the sounds and stuff, he managed to magnify the creepiness of that, which is like an old childhood sort of creep thing. The one actress I really do have to give credit to, and she didn't do an awful lot. She wasn't in it that much, but she stands out, is Mandeep Dhillon, who played Shireen. Wonderfully talented actress, very good alongside Pearl Mackie, who is acting her heart out on this show, and you cannot stop loving Bill. So Mandeep Dhillon has got to be one of the best guest stars of this week. Just a wonderfully poetic, creepy, haunted house story by Mike Bartlett.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like a miniature Stephen King story minus the clown. Okay. The clown that turns into a big spider. Okay, Frank, go on ahead.
Hi, guys. This was another winner, really, I think, in this season. So far, it's been going great. I liked right from the beginning, really, you know, all the way through, it was great, you know, but the opening scenes were really good, like when they were going with the estate agent looking around at those quirky houses, like the little tiny one in the middle, and then that thing with the, you know, the construction place, you know, kind of thing going on. That was good. There was a little scene that was really tender, I thought, with Bill talking to the picture of her mother, you know. I thought that was a lovely little moment, saying, how you proud of me and everything, and that was quite touching, you know. And then it goes into, and then it's, you know, you go from, the wonderful thing is you segue from that little lovely moment to a moment of like tense horror coming in, you know. It's just like, you know, that you can hear the, you know, the sounds and all that coming in. I thought that was really good how they switch. David Suchet was brilliant as the landlord, really creepy, and I liked the way that he kind of would just appear from nowhere, you know. Even like the moment when he appears, when they come out of the estate agency, he's just there, and he goes, "Are you looking for somewhere to live?" And I thought, how the hell did he know they were there? You know, it was just a really weird moment. He just seems to flit around wherever he feels like it. I liked a couple of the throwaway references to older episodes. I remember Capaldi was talking about the Vok robots at one point. That was really good. And of course, Harry, you know, the young Harry, but they didn't explain it too much, but we kind of can tell what they meant by that. And also, I found there was elements of Ghostlight about the house, you know, the old house in Ghostlight, even down to the line where he says, "Up the wooden hill," you know, to Bedfordshire, basically, which is what McCoy said in Ghostlight. So, and like the lightning outside, the establishing shots of the house outside, it was very like Ghostlight to me. And I thought that was really nice, you know. All in all, and the wood creature, Eliza, I thought was brilliant. I think that was all prosthetics. Didn't look CGI to me at all. I think she was actually made up like that. It looked very, you know, it didn't look like it was digital or anything. And I thought that was very effective. She looked really good. Well, all in all, I really enjoyed this. Suitably creepy. I listened to the binaural version. It just had the right sort of jump scares in it with the sounds and the knocking and everything. And it was coming, you know, from left to right, up, down, everywhere. And I thought that was, then they made good potential of that. And I hope that they start, you know, utilizing different things for episodes every now and again like that, you know, whether it be like a visual thing or a sound thing. It's just nice to experiment. And I think that's the way forward with a lot of, you know, they're pushing the envelope, you know. So all in all, I think it was great performances. Capaldi was great. Pearl was great. David Suchet was really, really creepy and really, really good. And I loved it. Another winner.
Yep. So far doing really good on this series. Okay, first time appearance. Let's go to Bo down there. Your turn. Go on ahead.
Yep. I thought the episode was really brilliant. Seeing the people being consumed by cockroaches and all that, and seeing the creepy landlord who turned out to be the son of the warden girl. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Susan and Alex.
Hello. This episode had a lot of incredible throwbacks for me to other things. The wood creature looked a lot like the woman in the Lion or the wardrobe, the Christmas story about
the widow.
The
Yeah.
widow.
The widow in the wardrobe. Yes, that one. That was. I mean, her whole demeanor and that was fun. And then the ghost light, of course, like what was mentioned. Like, thanks, Frank, for pulling that. You took my thought anyway. That was great. And let's see, there was the David Suchet was so cool and I just had I had so many flashbacks of Poirot. I'm sorry, I just did. And so that was really cool. And I really enjoyed the episode. Over to you, Alex.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. But some ways I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the jump scares. I enjoyed the creepiness of the spoilers ahead. The lice and the insects and stuff. And I did like Little Mix being put in there. But yeah, in some ways I liked it. It seemed sort of a modern horror story type of thing with a little bit of past Doctor Who references or themes put in. And I did like David Suchet, and I did like Capaldi, and I did like Bill, the companion Bill. The rest of it, I'm not too sure. The only other thing I found a little weird was the son is willing to kill all these strange people to protect his mother, and I kind of went, wow. That's that's a little dark, like the old days. I mean,
yeah.
That's a little. I mean, I know some people, may actually do that, but I kind of went, wow, for a family show, that's a little.
Not beats anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to kill somebody, I mean, I could understand if it was, spur of the moment, maybe, but sit there and plan and say, okay, I'm going to keep my mother alive forever. And all I'm going to ask is for first deposit and last legs, and you can move in. That's a little too macabre, maybe.
Well, you got to remember, in a way, he never grew up. But if you see the way he talks, especially when he's confronted by his mom, he's still acting like a little kid. So,
right.
That's why he never understood how the outside world is. Only when he was getting tenants for the house.
Eat your heart out, Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah. So in terms of, like I said, the actors were good. The method of which they did the story was good. The story I didn't really like so much.
Okay, well, maybe we'll go a little bit more into that later. Okay, Graham, go ahead and shoot.
Oh, I've got to follow that. Stupendous. I'll tell you, suspense, spooky, atmospheric. The sound score in this, I thought was phenomenal. How the sound matched up with the actions on screen, especially when it came to dialogue coming across. The guy just touched upon AJ, Phil, Sue, Frank. We homages here to Ghostlight and to Hyde, as well as a hell of other things. Great prosthetics on Eliza. Really good stuff there. David Suchet stole the show for me this week in this thing, man. No, somebody, I can't remember, it said that others were bitching online that they didn't feel it was on screen long enough. Utter bollocks. Of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but he was just right in this, man. And the range of emotions the guy went through as the creepy landlord, all the way up to the petulant child when he was stamping his feet when the woodlice wouldn't listen to him and they were listening to his mother instead. That was just top notch there. Capaldi, great as ever. Poor Mackie, he's just earning our stripes each and every week. And all in all, we'll get into other scenes later, but this was phenomenal. And here's hoping we get more.
Yeah, so far they've opened up pretty good on this series. Can't complain. And now let's go to Beefhead.
Yeah.
Hello, Beef here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah, right.
You wish. It has. It's hard to come up with something else to say that hasn't already been said. Yeah, you have an amazing performance from David Suchet that by the end of it, you have a fantastic realization, and you can see where his acting switches between the very straight and the sort of petulant child aspect. You have the comparative sort of, someone who's trying to keep their parent alive and someone who's lost their parent, like Frank said with the scene with Bill, showing the picture around the room and everything like that. And now Bill's finding that, there's not even an aspect of her life. That she's finding the normal stuff scary, but the scary stuff normal. Yeah. But now there is also not an aspect of her life that doesn't include the doctor now. There was a bit that she wanted to be just for her, but it's not. He's now creeping into every facet of her life. I also agree with Doctor Who commentator. I cared more about the 6 kids in this than the kids in class.
Yay!
Capaldi's humour is effortless. The bit where he doesn't even say anything and he's just munching on a prawn cracker.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah, it's the idea of catching a spider or a bug in a matchbox. I love that as well. There's so much really well done humour that is just underplayed in it. The Drydads looked brilliant. And the practical aspect of it, Eliza, she looked repulsive. It wasn't like the Cuprinol man, if you're familiar with wood preservative adverts of the televisions of the 1990s and 1980s. And also the guy who was half absorbed into the wall, that looked horrifying. But to the same,
was it Pavel?
Pavel, I think it was, but for the same amount, like the guys have already said, it was a case of suspense where you didn't need to see it because the suspense was all provided by the sound. The best horror is always something that comes from your own imagination, and this did it in spades. To be honest with you, I don't know what else I can say. David Suchet was all well packaged. I don't think there was anything that I could say there was fat in this episode that needed to be trimmed. It was a really well structured, put together story. Everyone was great. I loved Pearl's friend. The Bill being gay issue really did. Her mate didn't care, and it just sort of I think it underplays and it undercuts that being an issue. Oh well, I never stood a chance anyway.
Yeah, never stood a chance.
That's it. So I'm trying to think what else I can say that hasn't already been said. I liked it. They seem to be putting in intentional David Bowie gags, just because I think Peter Capaldi really likes David Bowie anyway. He's a big fan. So you saw that the box from 1977 had a David Bowie record in it. Obviously, this is a first outing for a new writer for the show. It did exceptionally well. The binaural, however you pronounce it, the funky sound obviously ties in with Delia Derbyshire's birthday as well. So the idea of the sound thing being, tying in with her birthday, it's a nice touch, and also it doesn't hurt to give you extra iPlayer downloads as well in the idea of ratings and adding to final numbers. So that's a very clever thing to do. Now, obviously, you're going to be wondering, how on earth do I make any sort of sense with this? Now, there is, I hate to warn you, but with horror, there has to be a satanic element to this, and there is a Satan thing. Basically, there's been, before this lot, 3 sets of students that have gone missing. 18 students. And how do you get 18? 6, 6, 6. How many students in the house? 6. They say You know, when they say knock on wood, they say knock 3 times, 6, 6. So there is a very large satanic element in this. There's how many boxes were there for each set? There were 6s. There's 6s all the way through this, and that means that the devil is actually possessing this episode. That's the best I can come up with. You know,
maybe the writer's a big fan of the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
It, you know, it's Satan all the way. You know, knock knock. Who's there? Stephen Moffat. Stephen Moffat. Who? What do you mean you forgot him already? You've hated him for the last few years. I do. You know, standout star though has to be Suchet. Measured. Yep. He looks like a guy out of time as well. He looks like a kid dressed up in the old person's clothes, like his dad's clothes, and doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, a really good episode overall. Hell, Satan.
Thumbs up from Bo. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And speaking of places that are hot as hell, let's go to Tim Wells.
Well, as Beef had pointed out, everything pretty much has already been said. I would just say what I thought the twist was pretty clever, and you didn't expect that, where the woman is actually his mother rather than his daughter. I thought that was pretty. You didn't see that coming. Also, I mean, what I really liked the most was just Bill's attitude that, God, he's so embarrassing. He just won't stop hanging around. I'm hanging around with my friends, and I don't need you here, Granddad. You know, that kind of thing. I thought that was the funniest bit of it, as far as that goes. But yeah, this is Doctor Who doing what Doctor Who does. They'll take a genre and turn it into a Doctor Who episode. And this time they're doing the haunted house thing, and it's pretty well done. I think it wasn't really like I think like what Tim said, there was no fat. I mean, it was just a pretty straightforward episode, moved along quickly enough, and it was very, very enjoyable for an hour. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah, plus the fact that they were playing on one of the big issues a lot of so-called fans had was Capaldi's age, and I love the way that they were making fun of it in this episode. You know, my grandfather, he's my grandfather. No, I'm old enough to be your dad. Come on. Okay, let's get past the elephant in the room. Spoiler alert. It's kind of damn dirt obvious now who's in the vault. Come on.
It's not.
Yeah. No, it's not.
No,
yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. It might be her.
Because I hear it. What happened was it goes with this, because as Beef pointed out when we did the Series 10 trailer breakdown. See this little thing right here?
Yeah.
As they spun around the one scene, it's obvious she's in some kind of jail, because you see more than one of these as it goes around. And also it looks like she's laying on a piano.
The piano that we heard playing.
And also, what was the dirt dead giveaway was the fact that, like someone said, he's talking to this person in the vault like they're a friend, and they keep ignoring him. He goes, and by the way, did I mention that there are also children that got eaten? Boom.
Yeah, one thing I'll
give you that.
Then she started playing a happy tune.
I completely.
I'm just intrigued that it was actually possible to open the door the whole time. I thought it was something locked that he was guarding and
it looks like you can go in there willy-nilly, doesn't it? Well, really walks in there, which we did. That's another new slant on everything.
So if it's not Missy, I'll be really surprised, because that's her behavior.
She's one of the masters of
it. Maybe it's a red herring. We're meant to think it's her.
Yeah.
It could be, like I said, but then you get to the part where, oh, by the way, did I mention that children got eaten? Boom, you got my attention.
Well, as Frank just pointed out, though, every time they've talked about this vault, they've changed the rules. Like he said, at first it seemed like they were guarding something that was supposed to be stuck there. Now it looks like they can go in there anytime they want to. It looks like Nardal's just there watching whatever it is in there doing. So I'm thinking, but why would the master act like that was his date for the evening? He brings her food. I mean, so...
What's different about that, Tim, is and everyone, is that if the Doctor can just go in and out there and open up that thing, there's every chance that whoever's in there could escape.
You see, that's one of my theories. That's why I think he's been really watching Nardal, because you all remember how the Master could hypnotize and get people to go onto his or her side. With that charm, that charisma, and that little hypnotic ability. And I think that's why Nardal's getting pulled in more and more. And that's why he's like, get the hell out of here. I'm watching.
Well, one thing I observed with the thing is that I totally agree. I think it's Missy, but I think it's more about why she's in the vault than her. That's the intrigue of the arc. With the thing.
So I'd certainly like to know how she got off Scar.
Yeah,
hang on.
So you're not losing anything, even if you do know it's her. But like I said, the big question we haven't found out yet is why.
Yeah.
Isn't it sort of like a parallel to the 11th Doctor and River Song incarcerated throughout her, her time with him? I think it's just kind of it is sort of a parallel story arc in that respect. Then
it's interesting. He did say to her, "We're both stuck on Earth. We can't go anywhere." So
yeah, that's what I mean. They keep changing the rules about what that is. Each episode, you think you know what's going on there, and they keep on adding to it, saying, "No, it's not exactly what you think." Yeah. So that's an interesting way to do this. But I'm just curious. Wasn't there some talk about maybe Susan being around this year or something? So what if it had something to do with her? I don't know.
Oh, please.
Oh, shut up. Hang on.
Not happening.
Look, as much as I'd like to get my hopes up and say, look, Susan showing up, it's like, I can't anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not.
No, I don't think they would do that. I honestly don't think they would do that. But I'm just saying the idea that he's bringing food, it's almost like a date night.
Yes.
Is like, okay, the Doctor really wouldn't do that with the master or the mistress or whatever you want to call it, because it's they're arch enemies. They're old friends, but they're arch enemies as well. So
you just hit something. You just hit a nail on the head there, Tim, because there was just something when you mentioned about a date night. There was. I don't know if anyone saw it, but there was a panel with Moffat and I think it was BFI or something. And they said, what I know you can't give away a lot, but what would you expect to happen like later on? He said, I'll just say this: watch out for the worst date night that goes wrong.
That was to do with. Oh yeah, you could be right. Actually.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm wondering if that's what you just said, Tim.
Send it to me.
Do we think that Nada's aware that the Doctor sneaks into the vault to have dinner with, who?
Well,
Probably.
The thing is that I think she's in there because he's protecting her from something. I don't think she's prisoner. I think she's there for her own good, but because obviously she's evil and she's twisted, and she probably
stuck there for witness protection.
She probably thinks she can handle everything herself. She's more inclined to want to be out there fighting whatever she's running away from.
But the Doctor would be the last person she would ask for help, wouldn't he? I mean, don't you think?
That's probably why it's so serious.
There's a third player in this. There's a third player.
Yeah.
So they're both trapped in this situation by someone else. There's a third player in it.
Well, I mean, I'm wondering if one of the cyber men or the cyber controller turned against Missy, or if it's the fact that it's a parallel and part of it is Missy in jail, but part of it also is the master as well.
Well, it could be simpler than that. Since we know that Sim is going to be back at some point, perhaps he's got some plot going on where he causes the Doctor and one of his other selves to be stuck in this situation. Maybe he's the one pulling the strings or something. I don't know.
Could well be.
Well, do you think they both, because they've done it before in Legopolis, where they've both had to do an uneasy alliance, a pact?
I think
they're
that's
both trapped. Maybe they've had to do something that's going to be revealed later on to help them both.
My thinking is that she's probably being protected for his own good, but it's going to become a point where she has to be released because the only one who's capable of pulling him and his arse out the fire is going to be her. So she's there as your sort of Hail Mary type thing. There's a sort of redemption, but an uneasy alliance, like you say.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something there that if they've had to do some kind of truce of some sort.
So the Doctor, the Doctor and Nardal are protecting her, but then she has to help the Doctor fighting against herself. I don't know. Or
potentially, or correcting something that's going to have catastrophic.
Yeah, and can we just underline before everybody goes running to the body message boards? This is speculation, kids. Yeah. Don't go tweeting it as fact.
Yeah.
Oh, Graham.
That's all part of the fun, though, speculating.
Yeah, just watch us for the possible surprise, but don't quote us on it.
Yeah.
What if it's
we haven't got any inside knowledge.
What if it's an evil version of himself?
They really did.
Why would he be going to have a date night with Sil?
It's not the Valeyard.
But it's not a date night.
His future self.
The Valeyard was done in Big Finish.
Also, Philip, you have to look. I think the main part of that scene is you have to look at the way that they reacted to when he mentioned kids being eaten. It was a misty reaction.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
hand up here for a minute or two, so let's give him a shot.
Yeah, I was just pondering over it while you guys were talking. We never knew what happened with John Sim and Rassilon at the end of time, where he saved the Tennant's doctor, right? So what happens if it's Rassilon and the Master, that version of the Master together, somehow twisting and changing things, manipulating the story itself?
Remember, we saw Rassilon in the last season, so...
No, I know, but that's a future version of Rassilon.
Yeah.
That was a future version. I'm talking about the Time Warp version.
The Timothy Dalton.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the end of time, part 2. Yeah, when the Master goes out battling Rassilon, and then they disappear, and then we don't know what happens from that point until Missy reappears later on. So,
yeah. I'm going to call it. It's Don Warrington. There you go.
No, the Black Rassilon.
Does anyone mind if I ask a different question?
Go on ahead. Let's wide open. Go ahead.
Am I the only one who was asking pretty much by the end of that episode? Well, how did the Dryads get there? I mean, you've got all these Dryads. Fair enough, they're the walls, they're everything, but they seem like mindless creatures. How on earth did they get to Earth? I mean, this is
things fall through the atmosphere on a daily basis on Earth. Very tiny, small things. They could have easily just passed through space as a pod or a seed.
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever.
I want to say cryopods. That's probably not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that Doctor episode with those neurons. But
in rocks, haven't they? There's like where meteors splinter and that. And they found like little microscopic little things.
Yeah, but it just annoys me because I like to keep track of what kind of monsters and aliens and whatever in the show could still be a potential threat to the Doctor or Earth. And for me, that's those that can ultimately travel through space. So a lot of humanoid characters, possibly a lot of beasts. Very few beasts could, except those stingray ones that we saw in David Tennant's era, because they've actually traveled.
Well, you got to remember in Doctor Who, even from classic, Big Finish, and all the way up to modern, shit's always attacked in Great Britain all the time. I want to know what you guys did to piss off the rest of the universe.
We had an empire once.
A fallen empire.
Yeah. There are a lot of people here who want that empire back, Frank.
It's also strange that this is the second time in this series, and we're only 4 episodes in, that they had a building made out of something that's not wood or brick, or because you had the Vardis in Smile.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And you see the building. Yeah, you see them. Yeah, they sort of seem to be part of the structure. Yeah.
It's also interesting that they've continued the theme of the villain having some type of other, having
a different agenda.
A different agenda. He's not a straight out villain. There's empathy to a small degree.
Like I said, it wasn't a one-dimensional villain. It was very complex.
So maybe the Mondasians thing will continue that with the Cybermats or the Cybermites or the Cyber walls or whatever.
No, I don't think they're connected. They're different stories.
And for anybody that's saying that David Suchet was underused, that's a typical fake Doctor Who fan line, because all you can say is that sometimes less is more, and that's what a good actor brings to a part, and that's what he did, and that's why it worked out perfectly.
That's the fake fan of anything line.
Yeah. I think like one of you said, there was I think it was Frank. There was a marvelous way of how he would just like disappear and reappear, and there was, and that was the thing. He was sort of, a sort of spectral, ghost-like, That was a really good thing where the Doctor said to him sort of, who's the Prime Minister? And he just didn't really seem to have a clue. He seemed completely confused, befuddled. Obviously, you had a mention of Harriet Jones there.
Yeah, Margaret Thatcher, Harriet Jones, Theresa May.
Well, that's because of Brexit, isn't it? Because nobody knows who the Prime Minister is at this point. It's every day.
Okay, hang on. Philip.
Going back to touch note about the regeneration that he spoke when he spoke about regeneration to Pearl, and the way he looked, it looked like he actually already been there and seen it happen, and that's why
He might have.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. And he didn't want to sort of like go on.
Changing the subject, moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I love the way that Bill handled the Time Lord subject. Do they wear big hats?
No, they got big collars.
Oh, yes, they do wear big hats. Yes, it's just on this side.
Usually just funny little hats and big collars. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get proud that this episode started with as a joke that Bill calling the doctor a grandfather, and then you see the photo of her mother hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the landlord saying that the girl was his daughter when it turned out to be his mother, that her family stood out and almost from the beginning of the story to the end. That was pretty good. And I mean, that's why I feel like when the story ended, the doctor went down there, because if it is Missy, that's somebody he could talk to like that. Unlike Bill.
Well, I like
Bill
how
because, like you said, like she wanted to hang out with her friends.
how every time the doctor looked at this guy, he kind of looked at him like, I know that you're up to no good. I know what you're doing, but I haven't figured it out yet. Like, that's why he wanted to hang around when Bill kept telling him, go away, go away. He's like, he kept looking at the Suchet character and going, there's something.
You know,
something
that
not
reminded
good
me
here.
when I used to catch my son misbehaving. I'm like, you did something. I'm gonna find out about it sooner or later.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Exactly.
That look, they give him that look.
The big stare of doom. I'll tell you what else I enjoyed, albeit it was, I don't want to use the word retcon, but it was re-established at the end when they all come back to life. But I love the effect on Harry's death on the stairwell.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That was the best part of it.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really well done.
Yeah.
But also you had a very nice as well, I think, an evolution now to Bill. You've got the next stage, because the thing is, Bill was isolated, looking after someone else. She's the first one who happens upon Eliza. And when she sees her stamp on the dryad, it's a case of, well, hang on a second, you've done the wrong thing there. She's sort of like gauging the initial thing is not to get like instantly aggressive or anything like that. She knows she's learning how to deal with situations and everything like that. So the doc's off with someone else exploring things in his own fashion. She's off doing things in her own way, and she's sort of now come along to be companion proper, so to speak.
Classic formula.
You gotta give her props because she's the one that realized that, hey, if he's her dad, how come he's still alive? Because he's still human. Like there's a wait a minute, I don't like bugs. Why do I gotta show bugs? What kind of girl would I want to see bugs? So that's that made her think.
But can I just actually say, I mean, of all the characters you saw dying, I mean, you had reasonably okay CGI part stuff or tearing him down like that. Is anyone other than me a bit annoyed? But when it came to the Asian actress, can't remember her name or her character, her death was just rubbish. Several cuts making her look like she was going into the tree when it's clear she was just going behind a tree in the edit.
I didn't notice that until you got the impression that she just was outside until they all came running out at the end. I didn't really catch that.
I remember that she jumped out of the window because she was getting close to Forbes. That she was she jumped
out of the window. Then she goes next to a tree, and suddenly she's really scared. But
that really was scary. In a way, it was a little bit scary because we thought maybe something was in the tree and grabbed her. I wasn't expecting those little bugs. I thought it was something big and he got her and it was cut.
When I saw her getting pulled in by the tree, my first thought was, "Oh my God, it's Evil Frickin' Dead all over."
You've just been tree banged.
Did anyone, was it just me, or did anyone get the idea at first that maybe it was roaches? Because I didn't know if it was roaches or lice.
It doesn't really make that much
sense. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah, if I remember,
termites or whatever.
Oh, I just want to. If I remember right from the description, they said they were supposed to be like wood lice or something.
Wood lice. Yeah. And you have a historical thing of using the phrase "knock on wood" or "knocking on wood for good luck" and everything like that. In this case, it's bad luck. But every culture has this sort of thing. There's I think someone said there's a universality to the sort of scared, childlike element to it from this that you get, and every sort of society all across the globe has their idea of touching wood for luck and everything like that. And it actually all goes back to German folklore, where there is an idea that there are spirits that live within trees. So you get the idea that there are these wood creatures, spirits that permeate the trees.
No, but to your previous point, though, the about the bugs too. I mean, or about Bill's recognition that this is an alien, not just a cockroach. That's why her friend's natural reaction was to step on it, because that's what you do when you see a cockroach, and that's what she thought. Unfortunately, it worked out bad for her at that point. But but I agree.
Do you want to contribute anything? He's been very silent.
No, Bo. You have anything?
Yeah. Yeah, in regards to the vault, I reckon the John Sin Master will be the one getting Missy out.
What, sorry?
Yeah. The John Sin Master, he'll be the one getting Missy out. Because I think Missy is a prisoner in the vault.
Well, she's not much of a prisoner if the Doctor can open that door and go in there with her.
Yeah, but that's just the cell door. There could be like another area where she's held in there.
She's in a little thing herself.
That confuses me, because when we hear the knocking on the bolt doors, that must mean that she can come out of that little square area she's in.
There's that little square area right there, so she can't come out.
Yeah.
But then who's the one knocking on the door then? Unless it's someone else in there.
No, but here's the thing though. Like, who's to say that they're actually knocking on the door? Because it looks like it's dimensionally transcendental up the TARDIS, obviously Gallifreyan technology. So, you could knock on the table in that smaller cell where she is, and it might react on the door.
Yeah. Where's my Chinese? Yeah.
Well, you can hear the piano through it. So. Yeah.
And what's to say that's actually a cave? Because you can't see the whole thing. You can only just see.
What's with the bushes in the background?
True.
Corridors and quarries. That's what Doctor Who's all good for. You know
what, Tim? The bushes in the background, that could be a type of cloister room within the sort of thing.
Yeah, let's give her a garden to walk about in while she's a prisoner. What the
Well, either way, from what we're hearing, apparently, I guess the vault's going to be open in extremis.
Yes.
So, two more, another episode after next, we're going to be finding out what's going on, I think, pretty much.
That certainly gives screens the idea that it's missing.
Yeah, that's the episode she's meant to be in. Yeah, so it kind of I don't know.
Just to draw a line under this, it doesn't matter who was in that vault. As per usual, somebody somewhere would end up bitching. But the thing is, if it is Missy, Philip, let me finish my.
It's true. It's true. Go ahead, Graham. Sorry.
If it is Missy, fine. Now the question is, why, and what's the plot point behind it? There must be a reason why that's getting revealed in episode 6 so early in the season.
Well, to be honest, we might just reveal that it's Missy in the vault. We might not know why till episode 12.
Yeah, exactly. That's the good thing.
Yeah, I think the intrigue is with the why, which is what's going to continue on beyond Extremis.
Either that
but as
or,
it's been pointed out, each episode you learn a little bit more, and it changes what you think you know, which is really clever, I think.
And I don't think they're going to give everything away on that episode. That'll probably be like a spark for something else,
Yeah. I say maybe it'll be revealed episode 12. For all I know, it might be episode 8. Given
I don't know, but if I go mad, I mean, fuck, Yeah.
Well, they got to move the story on anyway, so they have to reveal it sooner or later.
Yeah, I guess that was a Moff quote from Doctor Who magazine for this past month, from 512. Is that it will be revealed soon. Plus, like I said, from what I'm hearing, it's the vault's gonna be opened up, I guess, in Extremis, and that's when we see all the scenes where we see Missy, and whatever is going on, and those ones we saw in the series and trailer. So, also we know Sim's gonna show up later on, and apparently he plays a larger part than we originally thought, because as somebody revealed, he'd been on the set on and off for like a couple of weeks, so he filmed more than just like a little bit appearance. Matter of fact, if I really wanted to freak you out,
there we go.
Let's get freaky in Town.
All right, give me a minute, because now I got to find
guys.
You're gonna see him.
Well, I mean, unless Missy and the Master go mad, and that's why they're in the vault.
No, they're not both in the vault. They cannot be both in the vault.
To add to the Missy thing, if her hair is messed up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It looks like she has been imprisoned, and because you see her in the trailer in probably a later episode, and she looks like she did in series 8 and 9. Just with more.
Let's roll the clip, shall we?
Okay. Plastic fusion head guy, space bill, someone came in.
Look at the gentleman on Pearl's left.
Trying to.
Don't worry.
It's John Sims a hobo.
No, it looks like Eccleston.
No, it's John Sim prosthetics.
Actually, no. We found out earlier this week this is John Sim wearing prosthetics and a wig.
Huh.
Interesting.
But he does look like Eccleston.
I got to do a better frame by frame, but he's wearing a fake nose wig and a skull cap. But if you listen very close, everybody.
Looks like Fagin.
He's reviewing.
All right, I'll have to leave you a link, but if you listen very close to that clip, that's John Sim.
Yeah, it is.
The only problem with that is, why would he be knocking around with Pearl? Just on the
Watch the episode.
Wait till the episode ends.
You see, that's what I love. That's what I love about this series so far. You've got mysteries within mysteries within mysteries. You got riddles inside of an enigma inside a wake. That's what I'm loving about it. These guys are going out with a frickin' bang.
Yeah.
I thought he said many years ago. That's what I thought he said.
Yeah, I did hear the word many years ago, and I think he was counting too.
If I remember correctly, that's going to be in episode 11.
Ooh.
Hooray!
So,
Matty.
whatever is going on in that scene, he's somehow hooked up with Pearl. We don't know. But from what I'm being told by the set reporters, by the other guys, and also if you listen very, very close when he's talking, that's John Sim.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not going to argue that.
It is.
Oh,
no.
That's also how they had him on set for like a couple of weeks, and nobody even freaking knew it was him.
Bo wants to say something.
Okay, Bo, go ahead.
I just put out something. Is the multi-master thing going to be in the same episode as the multi-Cybermen?
I think what we saw was, finale filming, so it should be around then.
Yeah.
Sammy wanted to say something.
No, I don't want to.
Like I said, according to one rumor I'm hearing, you may even see incarnations from before Delgado.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
Let's see if that happens. I hope it
does. Is that absolutely confirmed?
No.
Nothing's confirmed, which is a
Nothing
good thing.
confirmed yet. But like I said, don't go screaming through the hallways yet.
I still think it's a good idea, though, that they don't they never confirm what the master's actual timeline is. You don't know which master is which, or which comes first, or which, you know what I mean? In other words, we don't know that Missy's not before Sim. You never know.
According to Stephen, right
after the other one.
No, right out of Stephen Moffat's mouth, Missy came from Sim.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough, but you get my point. There's no clear. It's never been mentioned on screen at this point.
We still gotta sub that. We still gotta sub that. Hello, you, Dot Master.
Exactly.
If Queen had actually appeared, I would shit. It would be something,
we would come out, man.
They did go out of their way to have McGann run off his Big Finish companions on that little thing at Night of the Doctor. Maybe they could go that far. We don't know. I'd love it if they did. I really would.
Well, at this point, he left a couple out.
Well, he did say and friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you have to tune into the BBC and the Dr. Freedom and all that to find out later on, huh?
Shameless plug.
I was going to say that.
Like I said, it's been a great series so far. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Right. Now, before we start running more through it, anything more about this episode you want to talk? Anything more about Knock Knock? Anyone? All right, AJ got his hand up first. Go ahead, AJ.
I like how it's similar to the Empty Child, but it's also the reverse of the Empty Child, if you know what I mean. Like where the parent is now sort of the monster and the child is the one afraid of it and looking after it. I like that how also the series, there's no real evil within the series. It's just creatures doing what they do, like a shark eating a person in its territory and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just a brilliant way of handling this season. There's no real evil out there. It's just creatures doing what they do.
Yeah. Okay. Bo's hand up next. Go ahead. Go, Bo.
Yeah, I just want to say, if the reference to Harry Sullivan doesn't appear as a deleted scene on Blu-ray, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, go riot on the internet like everybody else.
We don't know if it was actually filmed, though, right? It wasn't a thing that they thought about doing, but then they decided not to for whatever reason.
No idea.
No, it was recorded, but it was dropped from the final edit.
Oh, okay, then. It was recorded.
I've noticed so far in the season that everything that's been going on throughout the season has been a sense of unfortunate events. Nothing very sort of like, you know.
Lemon snicker.
Well, I think that's kind of what AJ just said, though, that it's nobody really being evil. It's just people doing what they want to do because it's their prerogative.
That's what the next episode next week seems to suggest.
But as far as DVD extras, remember they didn't put in the missing scene with the guy getting his head cut off, and I mean the robot and robots the Sherwood. So I wouldn't look forward to anything that may have been filmed and cut. They don't always put a bunch of deleted scenes, do they?
To be fair, that head cutting thing was because of ISIS at the time.
Yeah.
No, I know that. But I'm just the point is that you would have thought they would include it on the extras on the DVD.
I don't know. I think they still thought even at that time it was a bit too soon.
That's all right. Well, I'll go that episode anyway in black and white. Thank you, Marcelo. Just touching them back on the Cappy's comedic timing. I love it how right at the end they all come running out the house. The house disappears. They just turn around, big cheesy grin. Right, kids, back to the estate agent. Fuckity bye.
I did actually think at that point he was going to offer the TARDIS to them, but it's not.
I'm not having a bunch of screaming teenagers in my.
You had school kids in there. Anyway.
In a way, in the episode, the house was consumed, was gone, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that means Pearl lost the photo of her mom then.
Oh, probably.
Oh.
You always go back and do it again. That's all right.
Well, I'm sure he's got an extra one.
She has she's more than one.
Didn't the doctor take multiple photos of her mother, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not much of a loss.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else about Knock Knock?
Yeah.
I think we pretty much sorted it good. Let's go to the picture shop.
Yeah.
Okay, these were sent to me by Elijah Crailing. You'll notice he is not here this week. That's because he is in Minneapolis, where Peter Capaldi is attending a convention, and he's sent me some shots from the panel he did.
Look at the hair.
Yep.
At least he shaved his face.
It's looking more like William Hartnell right now.
Sorry, you folks at home, but yes, there will be a big fat watermark across this before it goes out on the air.
Ha!
Yeah. Hey, it's like, take photos of me, I'll take photos of you. Ha!
I see you, Stephen Price. Yeah, you know.
There's another shot. Oh, check the hair. You're right, man. Wow.
He also takes a hell of a lot of photos during the shooting of the show. I hope sometime in the future he releases a book because he's a huge photography fan.
Yeah, him and Sushi, funny enough.
Oh, no, he nodded off. Oops, all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it just me or does it seem to remind one of a great big lion's mane in a way?
If he were king of the forest? No.
Yeah, more you, mate.
Big bushy hair.
He looks more like Mozart to me there with his hair like that.
That's what I mean. It's a bit too long at this point.
They brought up
That's pretty cool.
Play my guitar, bitch. Yeah.
There you go. He doesn't connect with kids, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that evil man must be destroyed. Screw you, BBC.
Thank you for playing. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, young kids don't connect with Capaldi, do they? No, just
no, they don't. No.
Not at all.
They're obviously shit scared of that old man. You know.
Oh
yeah. Face with all those guys.
Yeah, I noticed one kid is holding a guitar, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's actually a gun.
It's a battle axe.
He's ready to bludgeon Capaldi to death.
You're done, old man.
Yeah. You're not going to make Christmas. Yeah, you know.
Ah, watch the finger, Elijah. Okay. All right, let's go back here.
I see you. Yeah.
And the question Elijah did ask is that will the Cybermen have their original voices? And the confirmation that he got was yes.
Yeah.
Good. I haven't had a chance to watch
that. No. Elijah actually asked him a question at the panel.
Yeah.
We will survive.
Yeah, I was in the middle of downtown Wapakoneta when he put that video up. So I haven't had a chance to down watch it.
But you reckon they're going to move their mouths as they talk, or they're just going to open them like they used to back in the day?
Catherine, I assure you.
They'll have to emulate the original way they did it. So,
Well, the good thing is that Nick Briggs has a lot of practice at doing all the different voices, so of course he's going to do that one.
Do you think they'll probably open them up not in sync with the
That one
voices
was
like in the-
adorable. That one was so cute.
I just let one go. Yeah.
So it's nice to get that confirmation. I was really hoping they would go with the original voices from like 10th Planet style because those were really freaking creepy.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
Do you think it might be a mixture of the two? You know, like the 10th Planet and the Moonbase type voice. I think they might sort of update them a bit.
I don't think so, because that's one of the selling points. Like Brian just said, those are the creepiest Cybermen ever, the first Cybermen, because they really are creepy. It's not only the way they look, but their voice. And it's a shame they kind of went for the robotized version later, where they just seem like robots, you know.
Yeah.
And
that's just an impression, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but since Briggs has done this voice before on a lot of audios, at least a couple, it's a no-brainer that's the voice they're going to go with, I would think. I mean, it would be silly not to.
Also, because it's such an odd voice, and it's kind of like, you know, I think when they would do something terrible, with that voice, it would heighten the horror more.
Yes.
Of the moment, you know, because that voice is just sort of like not quite right, you know.
It's a bit sing-songy, isn't it? I mean, it's like they're just saying something like, "By the way, I'm going to rip your throat out." You know, like you know. In other words, it doesn't make you think of anything violent, but they're a bunch of violent bastards, though, aren't they?
Yeah. Care? Why should I care?
Yeah. Well, they're following.
I shall hit your hiccup.
Don't worry, guys. I've got the wine.
Yeah, but if you have not got enough of that fix for that coming yet, and you really want to, I highly, highly, highly recommend go pick up the Big Finish if you can of Spare Parts.
Hence the wine.
Yes, I've got that. It's great.
Because,
I got the beer.
Yeah. Okay. So before we forget it, let's rate this sucker and we'll put it to bed, shall we? Let's start. Let's start with Texas Tim. Out of 10, how do you rate Knock Knock?
I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It was brilliant.
All right, Connor.
I'll give it an 8, and Knock on Wood series is as good as the first 4 episodes have been. It continues to be so.
Okay, Beef.
The more astute amongst you will have noticed that the David Bowie record as well was Heroes, and one of the taglines for this season has been Time for Heroes. Obviously, as I said, Satan is Lord, 666. If we turn it upside down, I would say yes, it's a 9 for me. A solid, well-constructed, does exactly what it does, and it's a lovely little horror tale of the mind. So yeah, that's cool.
Or maybe they're subliminally telling these poor guys you need to get out of the house and dial 999.
Satan is Lord.
Okay, Graham.
I concur with Beef, and I'm floating German. 9.
All right, Susan and Alex.
All right, I'll give it a 9.5. All right, it was sweet, it was amazing, and it was, and the bugs creeped me out.
I have to give it a 8.5. It didn't give me. I didn't feel that it deserves a 9 or a 10, but I say 8.5.
Well, my advice today is Susan smacking him in the back of the head and watch it go up to 9.
No, but Mackie and Suchet and Capaldi were great.
8.5. No bad for something you didn't like. No.
Okay, Bo.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. It was a brilliant episode.
All right, Frank?
Yeah, 9 for me. All round, good atmosphere, spooky goings on. Suchet was brilliant, I thought, and I don't think he was underused. I think every scene he was in, he stole, I think. That's because he's a quality actor, you know? He just had that presence. So I think everything worked. I thought it was brilliant. And so it gets a 9 for me again. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Commentator?
Oh, 9. Absolutely.
All right.
9.
Sam?
10.
Whoa!
10?
Whoa!
All right.
You do a 10 there. Nice.
Yeah, I give
Yeah.
it 10.
All right. William?
I give it a 9. I mean, it was a great story, and once again, this is one of the rare times I look forward to watching the Doctor and Bill together. It's great.
All right. Philip?
I'm going to give it a 2. No, I'm only joking. I'm giving it.
Yes.
I'm giving it an 8.5 because I thought it was really good and the story was nicely atmospheric. And the woman that played the wood creature, she knocked it out of the park because I couldn't act in that kind of get up. She did very well with that. So yeah, 8.5.
Which is really strange because you used to getting wood.
And wear makeup.
Okay, AJ.
Yeah, I'm going to give this 9 3/4 out of 10. It was just pure magic in motion, this story was.
Yeah, I'm going to drop it in at a 9 myself because I really enjoyed this episode. I think they used David Suchet perfectly. Top-notch actor to bounce off Capaldi. Pearl Mackie, spectacular. I'm not kidding. She is really knocking it out of the park in this series. And like I said, I really, really wish, we get confirmation that she has a shot at next series because I think she actually, just based off these first 4 episodes, I think she needs a shot at series 11. Okay.
BBC. Yeah.
Join us next week as we go to a little station out in the middle of nowhere called Chasm Forge, where apparently the dead ain't staying on the ground. It's going to have
Deep Space Nine with zombies.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like a creepy zombie type of feel going on there, So in the way Doctor Who can do it, So
yeah,
looking forward to that. So join us next week. We'll sit down and have a talk about that. But until then, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Get out. Get in the
Knock, knock. Who's there? OJ Who? Great, you're on the jury.
Yay!
Yeah, get out in the sun for crying out loud.
Yeah.